Hello, everybody, and welcome to the VR Master League Onward Season 13, Week 15. I think I had the wrong week on the top now that I think about it. The final week of regular season play here as BossFight and FriendlyFire duke it out. They are at the top of the ladder, and so we're getting a little bit of an insight into what to expect here going into the EU regional qualifiers. FriendlyFire ranks 6th right now, dangerously close to being pushed down into that 8th place spot. And it's maybe unfortunate for them, who knows, potentially fortunate, that they're going up against BossFight, because BossFight ranked 3rd overall in the EU side. Definitely no slouches. They certainly have lost games. Their roster has had some shakeups over the course of many seasons. They've been around for a long time. And so I'm curious what we're going to get this afternoon. They had a great battle the other weekend that we did tune into. I'm blanking on who it was against. It was against the newbies, and they just barely came out on top. It was a 20-round game, if I recall correctly, an absolutely crazy battle. And then they lost to Imperial earlier this week on Friday, and so that's why they're currently 3rd and not up there in that second spot. Either way, FriendlyFire definitely going to have a task ahead of them. On the reverse side of things, of course, FriendlyFire no slouches to the game themselves as a squad, a team that has also been in the league for several seasons now, since season 11. And so this is kind of, if anything, I wouldn't say the pinnacle of their team, but it's kind of like it is in a lot of ways the highest point that they can get this season. And so as long as they're qualifying, they're making good strides and good improvements as a team season to season. And so again, I don't even know if a loss will necessarily push them down into 8th. It depends on the rest of the games we have today, because it is, again, the last week of regular season. And so I don't know. I'm curious on what we get on how things unfold here today. But, I've been itching to get into some Onward action all week. But unfortunately, just a bit too preoccupied with my work. And it has been a lot of good meetings for VRML. But nonetheless, not been able to jump into games. Today, however, doing a doubleheader. We have BossFight and FriendlyFire now. But then we also have, I believe it's, Mayhem and Proteus later tonight at 6 p.m. PST. Those two teams ranked 12th and 9th, and so really that's going to be an intense matchup, because again, those teams are competing for an opportunity to bump their rank up into that 8th place position. I think it's top 7. I truly don't know I think it's top 8, honestly, that qualifies for you for the regional qualifiers, which happen next week. No, not next weekend, the weekend after. Yeah. And so, sorry, I was trying to keep track of all of the postseason action that is coming, because we have the last chance qualifier for Blast Dawn, where people can qualify into a championship tournament where there's a $10,000 prize pool on the line. So there's a last chance qualifier for Blast Dawn that we have coming up next weekend. The weekend after that, Onward postseason begins. And then we have, oh no, technically, I think next week is actually a round robin, but it's a different format. So there should be some games actually next week if I have my, yeah, there should be some games next week for Onward. And then obviously the weekend, last chance qualifier for Blast Dawn. And then Onward postseason. And then in November, we have the Echo Arena postseason. And so there's a lot of good esports action unfolding here over the course of the next few days and or next few months, really. A lot of hyped VR news coming up too. I think the Quest Pro announcement's coming soon. Pico 2 just came out. There's a lot of good vibes around VR, and so don't know. I'm just looking forward to the matchup. I don't know if the teams are waiting on me. But we do have now a full active lobby. I've been just rambling on buying time. It's not like I've been skipping gameplay. But we can't get into the meat and bones of things, I suppose. The meat and potatoes, however you want to say it. Meat and bones works. The bans from both teams, BossFight banning Bazaar, FriendlyFire banning Abandoned. Ranged getting cold off the table there in some ways. Map 1, picked by BossFight, is Suburbia. And let's start focusing on this matchup in front of us instead of the future ones, because this one's going to be nice. Suburbia, an interesting choice coming in from BossFight. Curious what the stats are telling me, their performance there. Also curious to look at these bans statistically wise. So let's take a look. BossFight. Yeah, 4-3 so far on Subway this season. Obviously playing it well. And obviously a lot of experience on Suburbia, so no strangers to that map. Over on FriendlyFire, 5-2, win rate not as impressive. Still have obviously experience in it there too. You know, these players no slouches to the space, but interesting to see nonetheless. And if you want to look at the active rosters from both teams, I do think. No subs, but some faces that I don't think I've seen in. Oh, maybe there is some subs. Slime Magic might be a sub there for BossFight. Maybe they're just going under different names. Lego and Scooby. Tea Party not on their roster either. Tea Party and Slime Magic I'm not seeing on the BossFight roster. I wonder if they're dipping into the reservist pool. You folks at home will know. The folks tuning in will know. But nonetheless, we are getting ready to dive into the action here this afternoon. It is BossFight and FriendlyFire. Let's take a look at the active rosters for today. Apologize for that. Over on BossFight's side, we have VG, Shook, Slime Magic, Tea Party, Lego, and Scooby-Doo. Over on FriendlyFire, we have Physics, Ollyhead, Perzel, Norse Good, and Cam Street. And already some kills coming in from Scooby-Doo. Blind Fire through the fence, catches one kill. Slime Magic and Tea Party barreling up through the center. There's no, well, there's a good pace here being established by this BossFight team. They're coming in early and aggressive, but are they going to continue to press that advantage? They, again, have two up here through the center. Lego's working around the side. They find Cam Street on the edge, trying to push up through the mid street and catch a kill. A nice passive sort of, again, yeah, not overly aggressive offensive push here has netted them a kill, and now Norse Good is trying to find where these shots are coming from. Lego almost has another kill, as they do tend to swing onto that outside space, but yeah, Norse Good actually was blind firing through to make sure nobody was capping through that bush. A smart play to make considering the chaos. Tea Party does catch one in a trade. A C4 is detonated, but it doesn't down it doesn't confirm Tea Party. Perzel is going to rotate around, pick up Norse God. Norse not going to catch the pickup by Tea Party. Does catch a kill through the smoke. On the backside, Lego scoops up Perzel, and we continue to battle up through the middle of the objective. Norse God defending in a 1v4. Has heard shots behind them. Knows they lost one there. Here's shots in front. BossFight really doing a nice job of surrounding and finding kills, but I don't know if BossFight has an accurate kill count right now. One thing that could be throwing them off. Norse God decides to push themselves up into the middle of the surrounding offense, and round one is going to go into the hands of BossFight pretty commandedly. BossFight definitely have established themselves as a well-rounded team. You know, in the past they may have been considered a bit of, I don't even know really if they were ever considered a slow team, but they have shown as of late the quick pace. I say this, they're a well-rounded team though, because they can deploy both. They can deploy that slow pace, or what we just saw there was some quick kills in a 2-minute round on offense. You know, they do have the ability to throw that variety into their style, and I do think that's what makes any team at a high level like this particularly effective. And so see how FriendlyFire kind of bounces back. They're going on the attack now. This objective in particular, not exactly easy to defend. A lot of penetrable cover and a lot of opportunities for flanks and even a cap through the bushes. And so you have to be really, in some ways, aggressive on defense to have an effective defense around this space. So I'm sure BossFight will be deploying some of that aggression. We'll have to see if FriendlyFire anticipate that right now. You know, again, these are two teams that know each other. FriendlyFire is familiar with BossFight. They've certainly played them in the past before. And so I'm curious to see how this all shakes out. Final match of the regular season. BossFight off to a good start. Go back into it with FriendlyFire on the attack. We'll see if they can bounce back and scoop up around of their own. Suppressive fire shot over the top of Shook as they crouch up and get pushed out into an open lane that they do get picked off from. More suppressive fire coming in from the side here as Lego catches themselves in a very tough position, trapped behind the white car. They do toss a nade up and over, and as they try and tuck in, they end up getting picked off. Arsgod kills it, calls it, and at FriendlyFire set up for a very good offensive push. 2 kills coming in quick. Puts BossFight on the back foot. Smokes start to come in. They've lost control of this side, and that's a side you don't necessarily want to lose control of because Ollie and team can come pushing in as Cam Street catches another kill on a flank here. A lot of smokes coming in. This is a nice coordinated push from FriendlyFire. They're hitting smokes from the backside of objective and from the front, and Scooby and Slime are really caught in the middle of this push. Nice pickup there from Slime. Physics putting blind fire through. Can't quite identify where that was coming from. Another kill comes in from Slime. Another big pickup. Scooby is hearing footsteps around them. Here's the cons looking for the confirm. They're going to find it. They're going to continue to push out, and Ollie is going to find that kill. Slime did take shots through the bush, and they're going to apply some pressure onto the back of Ollie. They'll find shots there. Physics almost has a line onto Slime here, and it's going to be a 1v2 as they pinch in on him. They'll find the kill, and FriendlyFire can't get the cap, but they do return with a very nice offensive round of their own. We're tied up 1 apiece here off the gate. Oh boy, maybe I did something with this one when I said the last boss fight round went all 21 rounds. Yeah, 21 sometimes. I go to school. 21 rounds. Yeah. Oh, interesting. And we've seen Airborne on the roster, I believe. Yeah, Airborne is on the roster for FriendlyFire. We are seeing a sub here. I don't believe they were on that bottom part of the roster going into round 1. Interesting choice to bring a sub in. Maybe Airborne was just actually their intended player there and they were late. So they were utilizing a sub technically for the first 2 rounds. Either way, we do have a new player coming in on FriendlyFire's side, and yeah, almost an equally quick round from FriendlyFire on offense. If this is what we're going to get, then I think we're in store for a aggressive bit of Onward here this afternoon, and frankly, I'm looking forward to that. Obviously going to be heavy in utility use. We saw the smoke density from FriendlyFire there on their push from both sides. I love to see the coordination. I mean, that's what it's all about. Syncing up and coordinating as a squad. FriendlyFire very much intending on pushing at that time coordinated as a team, and they circle in on that objective. They almost lose control of it, but the clutch doesn't quite come through, and so we have the KDs. BossFight are shooting stronger, but FriendlyFire have managed to get that round dub, and so swap objectives as we do every 2 rounds, and we go to the opposite side of the map, over to the west side of the action, as FriendlyFire must defend, and I assume we're going to see more aggressive playstyles from BossFight. I wonder if FriendlyFire are going to try and counter that with aggression of their own. Risk for risk sort of thing here. You can actually get shot out of spawn, and you're going to see Shook try and do this. Go up to the 2nd floor, look out the window. Shots come down. One goes dead instantly. Brazil is dead. I think that was actually... not sure who goes down there, but either way, a good start to things for the BossFight team. They do not delay on pushing this. Cam Street is over on this side. And I was going to say, it looks like they're heavily favoring this side. Cam Street's going to continue to get aggressive as there is the shots from Shook coming in, and the trade between the two on this side. Shook actually benefits from that. Can get rezzed and will get rezzed. So it's going to turn to a 4v3.
I'm going to grab some smoke.
You can hear focus comms coming in from BossFight team, and they're very much locked in on trying to make sure they maintain control of what was a good start to the round. It almost went out of control there, almost turned into a 3v3, but they still have a slight advantage. Matter of fact, oh yeah, I was looking, where is their 4th? It's actually the Tea Party. Could be inching their way up, danger close to objective, but we're going to stay on board and airborne. On board, airborne. As Slime could be peeking the corner here, and Slime actually finds the kill over the top. More comms coming in. Suppressive fire comes out. Ollie actually catches Tea Party trying to push objective, and now it's up to just these 3 as Shook dumps suppressive rounds downrange, ducks in behind solid cover, but they're taking shots from Physics, who's trying to get rid of Shook, who's now pushed up and is going to now suppress and dump rounds down the Physics side. And so it's an all-out firefight brawl with 4 minutes left on the clock. Good pickup there from Physics. They check the mag to see how much they have in the chamber, and Scooby almost catches the head of Physics. A nice duck down just in time, but they know, they see the toes of Scooby. They're trying to catch them underneath the car, and they can't. Ollie's still holding objective. Slime hasn't pushed. An interesting rotation here. Scooby also makes the cross. They didn't see that cross, so Scooby does get a cross undetected. Slime Magic's going to peek that tight corner and catch the kill, and now Ollie's the last defender on objective. Oh, they hear those footsteps. Slime Magic is definitely, well, should have been heard by Ollie Head there, especially now. I don't see anything, though, and so there's a question mark for them. They're not going to technically see Slime through these shrubs either. They could do some guesswork. Could push some shots out. Slime's going to get behind solid cover. Ooh, and they may be going for the cap. The tablet may come out a little too early. Ollie Head does catch the kill, and now their attention directed over to the north, wisely enough, as Scooby is approaching from that side. All Scooby has to do is push bullets through this fence, and they have Ollie dead. Scooby maybe doesn't want to give away their position, though. They may be thinking about sneaking up and trying for the cap. That could be their demise, as again, that angle is very much covered by Ollie now. Although onward timing could be a factor. Ollie could drop off. Push comes in. We will have to see how things unfold with 2 minutes on the clock. A push is going to come in here sooner than later, but I wonder what kind of utility is around. I wonder what kind of utility could be scavenged by Scooby here. Is Ollie going to stay disciplined? It seems like they are. Ooh, and they do get a flash. You can see the kind of panic and rush in their movements as they didn't. I don't think they intended to throw it out there like that, but they do get that. They do get that flash. I think they're actually intending to throw out the. They didn't think they'd grab the flash first try. Oh, a flash over top would be perfect right now, though. And that flash may just end up going unutilized on their vest as Ollie is dialed in here. They catch the elbow, peeking out. Scooby finds the kill. They don't need that flashbang. BossFight take the round, but just barely 2-1. What a nice clutch there from Scoob. 5-2 from Slime Magic. Definitely doing well on the shooting front. A shout out to the fine folks that are tuning in here this afternoon. We do appreciate you stopping by. Start of a good match, that's for sure. BossFight and FriendlyFire off to the races here this afternoon on Suburbia. Quick pace, but ultimately a longer round there. Curious what FriendlyFire will deploy on offense. See if they can get that early pick that we did see come through from BossFight. That certainly did set them up for an early advantage. When I am getting but something out there I haven't done. Title. But I do see you fine folk in chat, and I appreciate you all stopping by, hanging out, and enjoying again with this little final week regular season gameplay here.
Checking for the spawn, checking for the spawn. I don't see anything upstairs, don't see anything upstairs.
And you can hear the call-outs there, checking for spawn. Don't see anything upstairs, but there is indeed airborne up there on that window, and I think they did see that. Oh, T's going to push out, though, and shots do come through. Scooby actually putting suppressive fire through the wood up towards that window. And Airborne not going to be able to spot Scooby here as they now tuck in to solid cover, and a continuously the blind battle here between these two continues to unfold. One goes down on the edge as Cam Street scoops up Leggle on the edge. This could open up the opportunity for FriendlyFire to push in quickly and get around this defense. Obviously, you have Slime Magic, who is watching this cross, so I wonder if they're going to see smoke and utility come into play here. But a lot of good suppressive fire coming in from both sides. A lot of comms coming in as well. Oops, and we gotta get into the action. We missed only a kill.
You see anyone white car, perhaps?
One, I killed one.
Airborne scoops up an early kill. Scooby goes down on the deep side there behind white car. It's an important spot to be. Tea Party up on the short angle doesn't catch Airborne. And they do manage to tuck back in. Again, they do have solid cover there to tuck behind. Smokes are coming in. Shook gets downed. No, does get a down, excuse me. Tea Party challenging, and it's an all-out brawl here up through the middle as Airborne takes the tight corner. Ollie finds the kill. Shook's putting rounds through the penetrable shrubs there and not finding anything, and then now rotating off of their middle position because the call-out has come through that they've lost control of this street. The smokes have been put out, and Physics and Cam Street have made the cross. Shook also hears the smoke behind them, and so there is a bit of a scramble here. Two are down and Resable. And Shook seems to be dropping back to get those reses, almost as if they were bait, though. Wow, they take the challenge. They find Ollie. T's alive, and Shook makes a big play. A 1-2 swap. Oh, no, and then a team kill. They even things back up.
Quick.
It's 2-2.
House 2 on your right, front porch. House 2, across the street. He's now crouch walking to House 1, directly across the street from you. He's at the Tesco on your corner of the house.
Oh, and the callouts come in. Cam Street doesn't get tagged. Goes prone. Shook out of ammo. Drops back and is going to dump their gun for an enemy's. If they can find it. The LMG.
On the north side.
Yes.
Nowhere to be found.
2 in the north, confirmed. 2 in the north. 1 in the back garden.
Maybe already scooped up by T.
T, I gotta get a gun. Give me a minute.
But wow, they are out of ammo. Cam Street's out in the open here. It's a free kill. If Shook can get the gun. There it is. Scoop that up. Get an ammo, a bit of ammo. And now, ooh, this could be a good flank, in fact. Doubtful that the team would be ready for someone to be pushing in from the backside. Cam Street doesn't get identified, though, by Shook. They actually passed them. They didn't see Cam Street blending in there up against that concrete. Shook just holding the angle. Scope right up to the eye. Cam Street and Physics trying to kind of coordinate what their approach is. And let's go ahead and see if there is any comms or communication at this point between them. They might actually want to be staying silent and avoid giving away their position. Wonder how many rounds are left in that drum mag for Physics, though.
Echo 2. One is by the Humvee from the sounds of it, and one's by the sandbags a bit further up. I'm gonna go for a different angle, right? Go for two angles.
Let me know.
Dude, just start distracting for a bit. I'll see if I can cross.
They need to get across the street now. Interesting kind of problem with this objective in that they have pushed this side. They now need to cross this street. Shook is on the back end. They're going to find that first kill. Now Physics is alone in a 1v2, and they've heard those shots behind them. That's certainly going to throw off their initial approach. And they may actually be able to catch the back of Shook. No, they can't quite get those shots in, and they really don't know where their teammate went down from. Time is going to become an element, though. With only 50 seconds left, they're going to have to push the objective. Kind of utility is left. Shook and Tea Party are here on objective, ready to defend, and Tea Party's going to catch the headshot over the top. BossFight put up a solid defensive hold, and under what was a good attack from FriendlyFire, but not quite enough. Quick gander at the kill deaths there. We do get close to what could be map point. BossFight's map pick definitely would start them off nicely into the series. FriendlyFire certainly have been battling, though, obviously taking these rounds down to the wire. And I do apologize for that, for not turning right away into the action, but it won't happen again. We'll be on it from now on. We won't miss a kill. Go ahead and get ahead of it, actually, come in the future. So that nobody complains. But either way, I do appreciate y'all hanging out here, and I do appreciate your complaints. In a lot of ways, they help me, like we just did, update the stream title. So, yeah, shout out to you fine folks tuning in. Appreciate the feedback. I take it constructively. 2 rounds in the books, though. That makes 4 for the map, and we change objectives. Next one takes us over to the garage. One I would argue favors the defense, but I certainly have seen it taken by offense lately. Last few matches. We'll have to see how BossFight approach this and how FriendlyFire want to defend.
Okay, right. Yeah,
We
you
get
do this as
into
well,
the
so,
action
one
for
there,
round
down lane one,
number
right?
5.
So I'll hold 4 back here.
Looks like they're going to invest in at least maybe even 4 of them crossing this street. Yeah, putting 3 inside the 2-story. And already running into some early potential action here as blind fire gets thrown out from Ollie through that back door. FriendlyFire definitely prioritizing defending middle house. And it is a oddly heavy defense of this middle house for this particular objective. It may be odd enough to throw off BossFight. We'll have to see what their approach looks like, as it seems to be a 3-2 split, maybe a 4-1. That 1 could actually be the key element. You see them over there in that on your mini-map over on the west side of the map. If the distraction from all 4 here on this side is enough, they may be able to draw that whole middle house's attention so that Tea Party rotates around and pushes up to the objective undetected. It's a big play to take. It's a big play and a bit risky. Let's see how they want to execute things. For now, they haven't found any early picks, unlike their previous rounds. No one's actually died in the first 2 minutes. Airborne staying tucked in. Here's the shots from T, but can't do anything off of them quite yet. Getting over aggressive wouldn't serve them. Going to stay tucked in. And that is something worth observing. A good defense that has a good solid setup doesn't need to push out and look for these picks early. Maybe they even identified this as a trend that they've been seeing where they've been dying early. And so they've deployed a defensive strategy that caters itself more to late angles and to sitting into really designated positions much more diligently. At least that's what we're seeing here with this round, and it's the right move to make. BossFight aren't finding anything here, and I say it's the right move to make, but BossFight getting the ability to surround an objective is not ideal. Tea Party finds the first piece to the puzzle as they get rid of the edge on APC. Brazil still has an eye out the window, but that's a pretty meta position. I imagine Tea Party will be ready for that. Cam Street does finally get one by looking out that 2-story window. Scoops up Shook in the playground.
Area. One going to the lane 4.
Tea Party now with control of this corner, really very close to this stacked defense inside middle house. He said there's one in middle house, and so it may give them a bit of a false sense of confidence when they do try and push in here. Revive comes in. Ollie doesn't take shots onto T. There's the kill.
Bottom, center. One more.
3v4 as an M203 and smokes come in. Here comes the play. A heavy smoke application. Scooby's going to try and cross the street. Physics doesn't allow it. There's a big gap in coverage. Ollie gets aggressive out in carport. They go down. Lego scoops up Physics with a nice headshot. Shook applying the pressure as they try and push up for the Reds. They're going to catch the kill onto Brazil. That's good quality aggression from BossFight. Good quality timed execution. And that's why maybe it wasn't ideal to let BossFight get set up, because when they do, they execute well. A perfect play on offense gets them 4-1 on their map pick. A great start to what could be a solid finish. We'll have to see. FriendlyFire go into the map pick now, their map choice. Curious what they decide. I'll hide the gameplay so that you're left in suspense. And we'll wait for them to pick a map. We're going to look at those stats. Third map is Quarantine. Stats sometimes lie, but oftentimes tell you a predictable story, and Quarantine is where we are headed for map number 2. It being Friendly Fire's map pick, they will start on the attack. BossFight choosing to go on defense. They actually do have the choice. BossFight could pick to attack first, but they're opting to go into that bit more of a comfortable position of defense first. And you know they've been in already a series or two where they've traded down into that final round, or being on defense is a little bit nicer in a lot of ways than being on the attack. It depends on the objective, of course, but I think there's more Volk favored objectives on Quarantine than there are Marsoc. There certainly are some Marsoc favored ones, but maybe 3 of the 13 total potential objectives on Quarantine. I wonder if we're going to see another sub for a boss fight. No swap of roster on Friendly Fire's side, but we are waiting for a 5th to connect over on BossFight's end, so I wonder if it's going to be Airborne, or if maybe we'll see a swap here on Quarantine. BossFight certainly does have a deep roster filled with some pretty skilled players, and teams at the top level in particular have been known to swap players for specific maps. Common strategy utilized at that high end where you have certain players that are just better at Quarantine than others. They're not necessarily good on Subway or Suburbia, but they can dominate Quarantine. And they're a good player to have on the team when you do want to maybe shake things up a little bit. In the case of Friendly Fire, they're not doing that. And shaking it up for boss fight seems interesting. And I wonder if... And so then, my thought process is that these guys are all rostered. Shook or Slime Magic and Tea Party just under different names than what they are on the website. I don't know if that's... I don't know. Either way, those two players have been playing well, so it makes sense to keep them into the roster. BossFight just bringing in subs. I'm not sure. I don't know the deets, okay? I don't know the inside scoop of the rosters here, but seems to be all above board. BossFight, yeah, running a bit of a different roster here. We do get ready to get into map number 1. You can take a look. Over on Friendly Fire's side, we have Physics, Olliehead, Brazil, Camp Street, and Airborne. Oh, I was thinking Airborne was on BossFight's side, so maybe there hasn't been a roster swap. I think that's the same BossFight roster. I was getting mixed up because we swapped sides, so that's on me. We have Physics, Olliehead, Brazil, Camp Street, and Airborne, and I believe that's the same roster for Friendly Fire that they've been running. Unless Physics is a new swap in. Over on BossFight, we have Shook, Slime, T, Lego, and Scooby, and so I think that's for the 5 they've been running on BossFight. No subs have been brought in there. Just waited for that 5th to connect. I think it was Scooby. First objective... going to take us over to the Burning, well, formerly known as Burning Rubble, but now Rubble. So a little past that. Where am I? No, I was right. I was going the right way. Objective is back here. Yeah, we found it. Round 1 kicking off as teams load in. BossFight on the attack, Friendly Fire on the defense. The first objective, I would say, a Volk favored objective. Easier to defend than to attack. And so we'll have to see how BossFight does defend and how Friendly Fire want to approach this. They've had good coordinated attacks so far. Anticipate that again. Scooby's going to go for a risky cross. Already suppressive fire coming in. can see Scooby now waiting. They have a smoke in hand. Also a
I'm gonna give it
smoke
an
on
extra 30
vest.
seconds. Just make sure you're watching your line, Legil.
And pay attention to everything if you're a new player or a player trying to learn something. These guys, the communication is vital. You know, it allows for your team to be coordinated like they need to be. And so you'll be being very clear of their intentions on their push. Lego confirming. And now Scooby executing on that 30-second
Scooby
delay.
south.
Calling out their crossing as well. And smokes are here. And they're actually going to grab one of the smokes, relocate it slightly.
This is smart. I can hear it. You're here. I know you're here.
Trying to relocate it. They're running out of time, actually. All of their smokes are dissipating. They do manage to get it, they relocate it, and they get their full line covered across the street. Suppressive fire comes in a little too late. And now Scooby is a threat
Scooby-Doo
here.
is safe in the south.
Could be dangerous. We'll turn on lasers to identify the line of sight of players. And we'll see if Scooby's going to buzz the head of one of the friendly fire attackers here in the south. There's two, so there's options. Ollie and Brazil. Not sure where they're currently looking. They might have just been at that rooftop position. Yeah. They're just scanning that roof, making sure no one's pushing up from that side. But because they're playing it so back, they're not seeing Brazil or Ollie up in that forward right in front of them. Brazil almost goes high enough on that mound to go up and over that ledge, but doesn't. And we do have this kind of close
That's possible. Audio center office.
defense here, but I want to also look at Slime Magic as they do catch out Airborne trying to sneak their way around.
Echo 4. Echo 4 north.
Oh, and Scooby has now identified the two that are here. They try and get both, and they miss both.
Legit, you're about to have two people.
Brazil and Ollie both surviving, and now Scooby on a rotation to catch a bit more of an exposed angle onto Brazil. Oh no, they go for Ollie first, who has the 3/4 cover. Ollie survives. Brazil still out in the open, still alive, and Scooby just misses the headshot there. Continues to pop up and peek and challenge, and Lego does find the kill. The call-out's there. Tea Party scoops up one. Cam Street finds that aggressive defense from the back and kills it. Lego confirming Brazil here. And they've shut down the duo trying to push in from the south. Scooby doing good work there.
There's still one in front of me then. I think he went post office. I think he
Doesn't
went
know
post
that
office.
there are two dead. Doesn't know that Cam Street found one because, or doesn't know that the one that Cam Street killed caught one because they didn't get called out. And so this is where you can run into moments where you don't have accurate data, and that can impact how you defend or
Yes.
attack an objective. Callouts from Shook identify the position for Slime Magic. Cam Street tries to push up from the crater, and they go down, and now Physics is alone. A 1v4. Not going to be an easy accomplishment here. And especially now as Cam Street's confirmed, no res available. Gonna try and toss that smoke as far as they can, but I don't think it's gonna make it onto that patio. And Cam dead. No res option, and so they do manage to cross the street. They'll be challenging Shook here soon enough.
Yeah, I'm getting attacked mid.
Callouts come in, a lot of eyes get drawn. Slime, Lego, everyone focuses, and BossFight with 4 left alive put up a good, solid defensive hold on an objective that is hard to attack, in my opinion, so not surprising to see, but nonetheless, well done. Oh, we gotta identify map 2, huh? That you're probably just left. How did you know where we're headed? There we go, all sorted. Curious how BossFight will attack. And it's hard to be in FriendlyFire's position right now. Total scoreline 5-1. But they played well on Suburbia. They came down into some 1v2s, 1v1s that they just didn't win. It's hard to sort of maintain that positive morale and focus when you have come so close multiple times and not gotten it. Those almost impact you more than if you were to just lose rounds quickly. You can kind of reset in some ways easier from those than you can from a hard-fought loss. Those can be a little bit harder pills to swallow. So curious if FriendlyFire will be able to sort of rally here, especially with what's on the line, potentially them getting pushed out of that top 8 where you, or top 7 where you auto qualify in to the regionals. You know, there's a lot on the line. And so maybe that pressure as well is impacting this team. Maybe they're missing shots, who knows? But either way, they're not quite out of this yet. You know, it's still map 2, still early in map 2. It's their map pick. And it's an objective that was hard to attack. So they now go on defense. If they can put up a solid hold here, then we will be off to the races for map number 2.
Well, let's hope you don't.
We'll have to see if Airborne can get across. Couple little lasers dedicated here. And they do get across without any smoke. Wow. Super, super risky. But like Airborne said, position has been given away. The Airborne there. Dancing around the bullets. Lego, though, very aware of Airborne's position. Tea Party also looking out from that second floor. Similar sort of defensive setup we saw from BossFight, where Brazil is underground and can pop up from the hole and be a threat if anyone does challenge to the middle. But looks like the rest of BossFight, the 3, pushing north, so 3-2 split. The slow intended strategy here. Encircle the objective and then push in. I'll have to see if they do find any picks here. Does seem to me like FriendlyFire are pretty well tucked in. Drone identified by physics, shot down, and they've potentially spotted Scooby. Yes, oh my goodness, the M203 detonates on the edge of the window. Almost a perfect shot inside. And now Scooby, bullets dialed in. Reinforcements are here from Ollie out of the second window, though, and they do catch Scooby. A nice double stack here. Definitely a little, I don't say definitely, but a bit off meta to stack 2 here inside this building. Very interesting that both windows are effective. Airborne catches Legel.
Maybe, don't know if he's dead yet.
Lime's still alive on the corner, and while all this is happening, what is Shook doing? Slowly inching their way forward. Ollie wisely understanding that if there's pressure north, then there's likely to be a cross attempt from the north or some kind of push from this side. So Ollie is watching this street. Vital street to watch. They're the only one watching it. They don't have eyes here. Shook can cross the street and push up to the objective. Brazil pops up from their hole in the floor and actually catches the kill from the back of BossFight. And FriendlyFire are looking fantastic on this defensive setup here. Tea Party tries to get Purcell in the hole, but they can't quite find the headshots.
From the south.
Information for Purcell to radio into the team, though. Both sides, as you see Shook also looking over here at the hole. They're not going to continue to apply that kind of pressure. And Shook is still stealthing their way forward here. At any point they move too quickly, they'll put out audio cue with their footprints, and Physics and Ollie will be able to react accordingly. So they are working slowly for a purpose. But again, Ollie has eyes on all of this. I just don't think there's a way Shook can work underneath that line of sight from Ollie. Yeah, they have full view there. Even crouched, peeking, using this as 3/4 coverage. They see that street pretty clearly. Nice kill from Airborne, downing Tea Party. It leaves Shook alone. They have enough time. Minute left on the clock.
Or me, I think.
No, but they've gone too fast. With the minute ticking down, they checked their watch, realized that the time was limited. The call-out comes in from Ollie that there's one on them, and Cam Street takes a quick gander, finds the kill. FriendlyFire have 5 alive on their defensive round. A little bit cleaner than BossFight. Similar time frame, but ultimately we're tied up here on Quarantine, 1 apiece. We'll be flying on over the north side of things. Honestly, I think another objective that does favor the defense. And I say that there is this, it's like kind of like a general favor, but, depending on the team and the strategy, there's plenty of ways to counter, standard defensive styles. And, we've seen the M203 being deployed here, not to a terrible amount of success, but if those M203s do hit and are successful, those can make big impacts on how a team can advance and push. And so, that M203 hits inside the room, that's one down. Maybe they don't have their second looking out the window for the rotation. Things could be a lot different for BossFight. So I do still think that even though this does favor Bulk's side, there's going to be opportunities for either one of these teams to take a Marsoc round here. Especially depending on the spawn. Spawn makes a big impact on how this objective unfolds. Take a quick gander at the KDs. Be patiently wait for the start of round number 3. Oh, false start. All right, we'll still stay here looking at the KDs then. I was just taking a quick look at some folks in chat. Who do I think is going to win today? Well, still kind of up in the air, honestly. It looks like I really don't know. Especially after those 2 rounds. I was leaning BossFight off the 5-1 scoreline, but now it's 5-2, and FriendlyFire put up a very solid defensive hold. They do get a bit of a far spawn, and so I'm curious how they are going to attack objective in the north. This cross incredibly risky with no utility. They take the challenge, and Scooby finds the first kill. They tried to cross without any utility in an effort to remain hidden from the defense. But it ends up costing them at least one. Keep an eye on Airborne as they get danger close to finding the back of Scooby, but we also have to watch over Shook, who has pushed forward here off of this knowledge and does catch one kill. Cam Street goes down.
One down, east of gas station. Echo 4.
You can see they're not peeking too far around that corner. They understand the risks.
So FYI.
Making sure their team knows of their location as well so they don't get team killed. And Airborne continues to inch closer and closer to Scooby. Scooby now actually rotating off. Airborne has to pop up to get this kill. They will get it.
I downed AC roof. He's dead. Echo 4.
Certainly going to be a big element, but Shook here. Oh, great smoke. I love to see that smoke. Very nice toss. Allows Physics to get into a 3/4 covered position, but there's great oversight from Tea Party. Very nice support. Prezell and Airborne now. Prezell here battling Shook and Tea Party. Airborne, their position given away, and the res comes through, so it's 5v2. BossFight putting up a pretty solid defensive hold here. And Scooby is baiting this. Scooby is calling out that they need a res, and it works.
Echo 3, Echo 3.
Airborne pushes the corner, anticipating that they'll be able to find a confirmed down body, but they spot nothing. And Prezell is alone in a 1v5. BossFight putting up a very solid defensive hold on this north side objective. Brazil has to stay quiet and slow here. If they do get too quick, there's room for Shook to hear. And clearly does hear the footsteps, calls out. One's approaching and flashing down the stairs, anticipating someone pushing them there. And look at the support, the call-outs from both teams, really, but just great comms coming in here as we do see that kill come in from the north side. BossFight put up a solid hold, 2-1. Scoreline certainly looking overall to favor BossFight, but Quarantine much closer than maybe people anticipated. BossFight certainly known for playing well on Quarantine. Again, when we look at the match statistics, 8-4 overall for BossFight versus 8-2. No, 5-3. No, 4-3. Excuse me, I had those mixed up. 4-3 for BossFight this season. 8-4 for FriendlyFire. That win rate and amount played to me indicates that Quarantine is a place that, as a team, they're comfortable. It's why they pick into it, and despite how effective they are on it, it's a place that they do like to go when, I suppose you could say, the chips are on the line, because they do have the experience and comfortability there. But to the point made earlier, BossFight are pretty skilled on this map, and we're certainly seeing good defensive holds from them. Pretty good offensive pushes. We'll see how they want to approach this north objective, and if we do see another, I guess I shouldn't say pretty good offensive pushes. They got completely 5-0'd when they tried to push their last offensive round. And so I don't know. You know, both defenses are just looking strong here, but objectives have favored the defensive side. So maybe even objectives shake-up will be enough. Maybe a different spawn, as you do see BossFight are over in the east, will be enough to shake things up. Who knows? Slime Magic looks like they're going to want to challenge right out the gate. And so we could be into the action right away. We do move into round number 3 or 4. Slime is going to be able to get across here. No eyes on. They don't have additional sights, so they can't see down. They're going to have to push out down this mid lane. So Physics does have that and is watching this long lane. Push is not going to be free when they actually have that scope to identify him there.
One's gone north.
If anything, that should be a spawn identifier. So Brazil should be shifting attention over to this side, but they're not.
Back channel, concrete wall.
Oh my goodness, and it's all just set up.
I saw someone.
Barty almost does get a kill. If anything, gives away their position and is now getting shot at from the exact position they were putting rounds down range on. Suppressive fire from Shook. Not necessarily targeted. Ooh, and Airborne almost has an angle here onto this advance. Drone, I heard. Might be a drone out. Smoke. Either way, they are trying to what seems to be get control of the 3-story. Airborne could pop up here and have Shook identified easily, and they will.
Echo 4.
Tea Party would be up next, but Airborne's not going to push it. Ooh, and this is a push from BossFight. Scooby M203 downrange. Smoke's coming in. Lego throws a short smoke, though, not terribly effective. They're trying to smoke out. Oh, yeah, he wanted that one on top of the cargo crate. They're trying to smoke out Brazil. They can't. Brazil finds the kill on the corner. A lot of smokes, though, have been applied out here. They take the short angle. Oh, no. Cam Street catches one. Thought that was a team kill, but Slime is here and just heard that. Isn't pushing off of it, though. Airborne get rid of T, and so now it is all up to Slime here behind this defense, but 5 are alive for Friendly Fire, and we are really just putting up good, solid defenses against each other here this afternoon. I wonder if you can even get a bullet underneath. Certainly can't see underneath there because they can't see Cam Street. So close, though.
Is Physics still up?
Wonder what the approach is here, because they go quiet all the way across here. They burn that clock down to probably 30 seconds, getting all the way here. Not more. And then it's covered by physics. Very diligently. They're prone watching this. Oh, and there's the play. Blue. Slime makes themselves known. Cam hears it. The flash comes up and over. Cam applying pressure, looking for the kill here. There's two firing down onto this corner. Cam will find it. Cam will be the one to aggress. No kills will come in from BossFight on the attack. We trade down flawless defensive rounds between these two teams. I was asked who I think is gonna win, and I really don't know. This is a awesome battle back and forth here. Our next objective takes us to one that is hard to defend, in my opinion. Oftentimes capped, and plenty of cappable angles for this objective, so let's see how the defense deploys themselves. And a shout out to you fine folk tuning in. Operator Fishhead, Miss a Lot, VRML Gunman, Norse Good, Embolism, PBNA. Appreciate you all stopping in and hanging out and enjoying the action. A reminder that the postseason gameplay will be live on twitch.tv/VRMasterLeague, so if you're not following that channel already, do go over and follow that. That will be where we host a good portion of, at least, the postseason gameplay. I think next week, when we have matches throughout the week, we will be casting those on this channel. But when we get into the regular postseason weekend with tournaments, that'll be broadcasted over onto twitch.tv/VRMasterLeague. We may have multiple channels live, so there may still be games that get broadcast here or to VRML 2 and 3. But yeah, keep the eyes peeled on all of the Onward and VRML channels for what is going to be a lot of good quality end of the year action.
Yes, you are only looking at the rooftop vision.
The moment you start firing, that's the moment that I should pop out and do my thing.
Yes, but I wouldn't be too concerned with looking north unless I die.
Okay.
Yeah, you made it.
Oh, this is an aggressive push right up the middle. Scooby does catch one. Tea Party putting rounds downrange as well as Slime on the back.
Echo 3, Echo 2.
Downs one, and then a team kill, a double team kill?
Yeah,
Oh
he's
my
south
goodness, a
pushing
double team kill. Comes through, and it's a 2v5.
Yep, and it sounds still up.
I don't know, maybe a bit of miscommunication there from the team. Thought they were getting that aggressive up through the center. It just didn't seem like it was known.
Just two of us, mate. Alright, I'm going to try and grab the guy into South Street, okay?
BossFight, meanwhile, staying tucked in. They have obviously the clear advantage on numbers. Wonder what Physics' plan is being up here. It's pretty risky peeking this window and being up on this top floor.
Alright, we might have to double team this, mate. So, like, you fire on south, I move, and up to gas station, and then reverse, yeah? I'm going to give the suppression first, okay? You're going to head to gas station. I'm going to shoot the guy at the very, very end of the south. It's literally right on the end of the south road.
Oh, yeah. They should be able to make it actually on this roof because, interestingly enough, they don't have coverage onto this rooftop from the North AC roof, and so Physics is going to be able to set up here and have an eye down onto Slime Magic. Slime still can hold some of these off angles, though, where they're not exposing themselves to the roof and still holding from the push that Purcell will be deploying here soon. Really just quiet here, and then suddenly an eruption of gunfire as kills come through. Slime Magic finds one. Physics not able to put the rounds downrange they needed to distract Slime enough.
Possible sound audio by me? No.
Yeah, I don't think the guy's going to drop off trying to push this Physics now. Not going to approach from onto that angle onto Slime Magic. But any other angle is risky in itself as well because they don't have a single kill onto this boss fight defense. So there's not exactly some open spaces to be running into. And a 1v5 is not impossible, but wow, the odds are definitely against them here. Minute 20, time also becoming a factor. Duck here up in center will be the first one to identify footsteps, and Physics will have to move fast where they will have footsteps because, again, there's only 50 seconds left, a minute left on the clock for Physics to work with. Shook will call out that there's someone underneath them, and then that'll be the whole team looking over here if they aren't already. Scooby has eyes here. They don't seem to see this. Physics does get past. Call out is here. They do get up into it, but now everyone has eyes on Leggle, Scooby, Tea Party. The trade through the middle there, and BossFight will take their defensive round. They do lose one, so not perfect. We do ruin the streak of perfect defenses, but we do have a obviously much closer round two here. Now FriendlyFire go on the defense, same objective. And again, we've just been seeing really good holds from them so far, so I anticipate more of the same. I just wonder how BossFight are trying to consider to break through this, because we could clearly see with FriendlyFire's approach there on offense, they did want to sort of barrel down through the middle ahead of schedule, so to speak. Get there before a team is really set up and ready for it, or even ready for the action mentally, and then you can kind of maybe catch a team like BossFight off guard with something like that, but even then, reactions were pretty good. They end up shutting down that middle push, and South essentially trapped there, so good solid defensive bit there. And yeah, I was also looking at it like this, watching as they were trying to find the angle underneath the fence, but see the comment there from that. Funny, hilarious stuff. But But yeah, looking at the KDs again, the series so close. Physics obviously kicking themselves now that they did get that double. Actually, that's now I think about it. That was probably, it could have been maybe even a successful friendly fire attack if Physics hadn't shot 2 of their teammates in the back up in the middle. So a tough round for friendly fire. We'll see if they can put up a solid hold here. It is going to be relatively quick spawn for BossFight right there in the south. They can push in pretty quickly if they want to. It looks like they're going to go for at least an initial approach up through the middle.
Kind of.
Interesting investment in this duo, going a bit farther wide.
Echo 4, Echo 4.
Well, Lego
Forward to
catches
the red
Ollie
stairs.
unexpecting there on the corner right away out of the gate.
Echo 3.
Already catches Physics. We're just missing these kills as they're coming in quick and fast. As now BossFight are looking good on the offense. 5v3 out the gate. Early picks. Maybe Friendly Fire getting a little overconfident on defense, or a little nervous, maybe trying to defend from what could be a cap attempt. Now smokes coming into the objective. If anything, those smokes trying to draw out rotations. We're staying on board T, as they are just a few feet away from pushing up to the edge of this building and playing and capping. And really, oh no, excuse me, they have to go inside. I'm thinking of the plane objective. They have to go where Shook's going now, as they've caught one. Purzel here on the outside does shut down the attempted cap. A big shutdown from Purzel, but it's a 2v4. Cost the defense a big, heavy investment in rotations as well, and now Airborne has to go back and try and recap as Tea Party is here to shut that down. Purzel alone in their efforts to defend. They will see T around the corner, and some good pre-fire there. Scoops up a kill.
Oh, fuck, that's not good.
That flash, they wanted to go through the hole in the wall. It doesn't, and no one is there. They'll double check just to make sure no one's really tucked up against it. And this is what they have to do as the last defender. There's so many potential cap bots on this map. Top floor, outside, inside. They have to hold it all as the last defender. They've been lucky that BossFight haven't really tried to push in since they've lost their 2. Really just looking at the overhead here, waiting for that north rotation to come through. Don't see a whole lot of attention being invested there. Instead, it is all eyes on the objective, and there's the M203 actually from Scooby-Doo as I tried to go over there in time. Camera got stuck, and Scooby does catch the kill. BossFight will take the map and series off of that. We'll go to a map 3 as the points won each round matter in determining how much you go up or down in rank. And right now, Friendly Fire definitely need all the points they can get. I actually was forgetting that was Friendly Fire's map pick. So now BossFight going to the map pick for map 3. Not gonna be easy. Not going to be easy for this Friendly Fire team, but they really have battled hard all the way through this series. Things could have been potentially different without those team kills. And, I mean, that's the way anything goes, right? If that one bullet had skipped over the head, then I could have been here instead of there. And play the what-if game in Onward all day. Doesn't really get you anywhere. The question I have is, where do we go for map number 3? What is our map 3rd pick? It looks like that's wise. Friendly Fire do play Downfall, Subway, or Cargo. Cargo being the last one there. Oddly enough, Cargo being the one. Well, not oddly enough, I suppose, but as if looking at the stats of Friendly Fire, BossFight picking into one of the weakest maps for Friendly Fire, and it is going to be Cargo. So we're going to stick to the close quarters. BossFight said, hey, we had more success on Suburbia on the closer range than we did on Quarantine, so let's go back to what we know works. Go back to close quarters, and well, Cargo can't get more close quarters than Cargo. think maybe Arctic, the custom map, was potentially smaller. But I don't think it was. Yeah, I don't think you can get grenades where you can on cargo, so. The smallest map. Likely to be the fastest played out here, but teams certainly can deploy a pace and a strategy that does end up playing a bit slower. So I'm curious if FriendlyFire will try and slow things up a little bit. Although we did get some longer rounds there on quarantine, so who knows really what the pace will be going into cargo. Maybe that's kind of the idea from BossFight. They want to put out that unknown question mark for FriendlyFire in terms of, are we going to get absolutely attacked here out the gate, or is BossFight going to be playing things more reserved? I mean, I think they should be expecting a heavy smoke cap attempt in the first 2 minutes. That's my analytical analysis. And go ahead and get ready to get into round 1 by taking a look at the rosters for round 3. Excuse me, map 3. You can't really see that, can you? Darker background. Still no subs coming in from either side. And a reminder before anyone else maybe departs that there is going to be more gameplay here tonight at 6 p.m. PST, roughly 4.5 hours from now. We will have Mayhem versus Proteus. That matchup very exciting to tune into, because that matchup is potentially determining if a team will be advancing, if Proteus will be advancing on into the regionals or not.
Another drum, take it. Another drum, take it.
They're, I think, ranked 8th or 9th right now. But anyway, we got action here to dive into round number 1 on map number 3. Been going good for BossFight so far. They've been very focused. You can hear the comms from the entire team really dialed in, and so we'll have to see if that focus is maintained here. We go into their map pick, and we're seeing some interesting deployments of Molotovs and defensive smokes coming in. A nade up over the top does catch Cam Street. That should be a quick res, not before the confirm comes through. Meanwhile, on objective, Brazil catches a kill. Bullets coming up over the top from Lego. Ollie is here looking for an angle out the door. They're not going to find much. BossFight are putting a bit of a pause on what was a potentially aggressive initial push. Ollie scoops up one. Slime Magic alone. Not alone. Dead as they catch out a trade. And now Lego alone in a 1v3. No idea what the defensive count is, because all of these kills have been trades. Tough to work with. Oh, and he did see Brazil on the corner there. I think that smoke had to have been distractory smoke. Ooh, airborne. I think identified that. Oh, and there's Physics watching the gap in the smoke. They'll catch the kill. FriendlyFire start things off on cargo nicely. A good defensive hold. Puts them in a position where they could come out the gate here 3-0. And that would be necessary for them. Again, they do have to minimize damage done here at this stage, and that means getting rounds 1 and preventing BossFight from getting on the board. So again, a premium start for FriendlyFire. Wonder what the offense looks like, but good 1-0. This objective is certainly challenging to defend, so not surprising to see, but excuse me, they defended it, didn't attack it. Real solid defense from them. It is hard to defend, so I guess it is surprising to see that they do manage to take that defensive round, especially with BossFight and how coordinated and in sync they've been throughout the day, it's definitely got thrown off there on their approach to cargo. Minute and a half timer between rounds. Teams strategize, hash out plans on a whiteboard. If you didn't know, that's what we are waiting for here in between round times. It does give me a moment to shout out again all of the postseason action happening here coming up and the giveaways that we'll be doing live over at twitch.tv/VRMasterLeague during the postseason games. You're not going to want to miss that. Your chance at getting free HyperX headsets, microphones, mice, and keyboards. We'll be giving away all of those throughout the course of the postseason weekends. And so you do want to tune in and catch that when that begins. And just I think not this weekend, but next weekend is when the giveaways start. And so do keep your eyes peeled for that if you do want to get your hands on some free hardware. As we get into round number 2, some defensive smokes that do allow BossFight to set up. Some offensive smokes coming in and some counter flashes to deter any aggression from FriendlyFire, but it does look like they're planning on pushing up at the very least through the midfield here. Airborne does come out and get a key kill. Start things. More smokes coming in. As Airborne tries to bait out a rotation. Tea Party up through the middle with the help from Shook. Catches one. Brazil does get Tea Party down. Airborne and Physics battling it out over on the side as Slime catches one. Another smoke coming in towards Slime's direction. Allows Airborne to push forward, but Slime tucked in finds the kill. Brazil still alive through the center. Here has the smoke denying Shook vision. Don't see the smoke in first person, though. They don't see Shook until it's too late. They catch the ankle, but the trade gives BossFight the round with Slime still alive. Certainly a good attempt. The series, like it has been, a great back and forth. Down to 1v1s. I mean, it's just how these rounds have been going. These two teams certainly evenly matched. They understand the nuances of the game. They understand defensive placements and strategies, how to attack as a team, and it really is just a battle between these two squads to get every round. And so again, we wait because these teams locked in a heated back and forth want to make sure that they have the right strategies to deploy when we go into each round. It does give me a chance to shout out the sponsors for this season of VRML. Those include ProTube VR, VRML, obviously contributing in to that prize pool. Asterion with fantastic mounts, mats, and other VR-related products. I would recommend checking them out. And also VR Cover, offering fantastic comfort options for any VR device. They're a must-buy. Alongside the ProTube mounts, which we really do love to have as a sponsor and love to show off. Those ProTubes are fantastic. They really do help stabilize aim in-game. And yeah, really just a vital tool if you do want to be, in a lot of ways, a more effective sniper. It definitely helps stabilize the aim. But that's it for the promo as we do get back into it for round number 3. FriendlyFire and BossFight duking it out.
Maybe.
We've got a bit
I'm
of,
going
bit of forecasting, foreshadowing.
3, 2, 1. Oh, you piece of...
FriendlyFire tried to come in. They tried to have a setup plan. Team kills don't help, but they still do find at least a 1-for-1 trade. An all-out brawl here up through the midfield, up through the smokes. Physics challenging here into the middle. They do get tucked in around in time as Airborne catches the back of Tea Party. Good support onto the likes of Physics, but now Scooby's here. Physics is down. Airborne's the last one left alive, and there's a lot of smokes around objective. Do they have the end-all, be-all angle they need to prevent a cap from coming through? They do rotate around. Scooby catches the kill, and BossFight break the trend of Volk rounds. They also break the trend of a slower pace here on Cargo and absolutely put the pedal to the metal. That round done in under a minute. FriendlyFire now need to even the odds here. Moments like that where BossFight does end up creeping ahead, and it's how they've taken each map. Because, again, every round has been close, but they just managed to grab a Marsoc round or two in there. That difference, that sets themselves up for the 2-point lead, so FriendlyFire do have to answer back. And they've been doing good to answer back. I expect a very similar style of aggressive offensive push on this objective. I'd be surprised, in fact, if we didn't see it. Although, I mean, maybe FriendlyFire do want to try and do something, because they also try to get aggressive on defense there. Really work out for them. I don't know. It's all a matter of waiting and seeing. As again, these teams strategize and hash out how they're going to approach each objective between rounds. A little more strategizing as we do go into it. BossFight on the defense, FriendlyFire on the attack for round number 4, map 3.
Scooby-Doo is going to be pre-firing the pipe lane, and I'm going to be doing it for an entire box. So don't read off of my shooting.
That's an interesting statement. Don't read off my shooting. An indicator that the team is reading off of shots, which they should be. And it's what we've been seeing. Good reactions from them. I think those were where Shook wanted to put the smokes. Pause suppressive fire here. Does allow Shook to get up into a corner. Physics reading those shots, hearing those shots, continues to apply pressure. Going on down the off lane. Tea Party not ready for it. One tablet, one hand on the gun, one hand on the tablet. They find the kill on the backside. Airborne picks up Scooby-Doo, dumping that entire mag. And as they go down, it's an indicator that they're getting flanked from the behind. Slime and Leggle are still on objective, and there's not a whole lot of smoke there. FriendlyFire are down to 3, so it's a 2v3, make it a 1v2. All up to Tea Party, or excuse me, Leggle on defense here. Just to hold this line now is Ollie and Parzel are pushing in. Has to stop the cap. Otherwise, FriendlyFire are back in it. Come in, though. How effective that was. It went a little too far, it seemed. Ollie confirming Slime magic. So Slime was giving away info to Leggle there. And there's so much time on the clock. There's a lot of time for Leggle to be alone here. A lot of time to consider where a team could be, where a player could be. Rotate out. Ollie should have caught that rotation there. Now rotating back might throw them off. Where did that smoke come in? A close corner, so it does force Leggle to check a different bit of an angle. Parzel does spot him, though, and down they go. A nice pickup. FriendlyFire do answer back. A Marsoc round of their own. This series just does continue to deliver a great battle here today, despite the scoreline being heavily in favor of BossFight. FriendlyFire are hanging in there. They've hung in there for every round. It really does feel like. Obviously, some big defensive round wins with 5 alive for both sides, but maybe they've hung in there every map. Not necessarily every round, but Either way, a good, solid Marsoc dub there. We swap objective placements. And this one, a little bit easier to defend, in my opinion. But on cargo, no real easy defense. At any point, you could be overwhelmed and attacked, so let's see what the deployment looks like for friendly fire here. But you don't need to get aggressive with defending on this objective. You really can let the team come to you. I say that with the knowledge that maybe you can't up against a team like BossFight, because if you do let them come to you, they will surround and execute well on a play in even those final moments. So maybe it isn't a bad idea to try and take some counter aggression to the likes of BossFight if you are friendly fire, but it has its risks. It has its risks. We've seen the risk rewards already on display here this afternoon. Sometimes it pays off. Sometimes it puts the team at a terrible deficit. And so who knows what we're going to get again? That's the big question. Is BossFight going to break away here like they have every other map, or maybe friendly fire will be able to put one up? Let's find out. We get back to it. Round number 5, map 3.
What the? I can't so many things when everybody just turns around and look at me.
Cam Street catches Scooby out early again, throwing that aggression to BossFight for friendly fire. Pays off. 2 go down right away as they do look for some aggressive peaks early and catch out the team trying to push forward. The party flashes up and over, poking and prodding at certain positions that are commonly defended.
I got 1 Echo 1-3.
Lego does manage to catch Perzel. Still the double stack here. Gonna be tough to work through. Tea Party doing some good work up through the middle. Almost spots Airborne there in the center. Good flash there. Does push prevent Tea Party from getting too aggressive through the middle. Physics deploying smokes. Rotation around the edge here as Airborne puts down rounds down range. Tea Party could be potentially pushing up through the midfield here. Physics is smoked. Tea Party does catch the kill over the top support onto Shook. It leaves Airborne all alone on defense in a 1v2. Are they out of ammo? No, they dropped the gun, but they quickly pick it up. Reload. Catch Lego on the back. They can't. BossFight with Shook on the backside catches the kill.
Probably could have capped.
And you can hear them say maybe Shook could have capped, but would have been tough. Probably could have if they had gone outside the crate. Either way, they're in the lead now, 3-2. Friendly Fire has to take another Marsoc round. BossFight definitely capitalizing on this win, and they're danger close to taking the full series. And scoreline could be 12-5, and that would be a big W. Either way, it's going to be a big W. 11-6 isn't exactly a light loss either for the likes of Friendly Fire, and so kind of looking at a tough situation here ahead of them. Still, though, 12-5, 11-6. 11-6 is a lot better, so Friendly Fire definitely going to want to try and get into this, and they could potentially make it 11-7, actually. They can win this map, so there still is a chase for Friendly Fire in these rounds. Wonder if we'll see the kind of coordination we've been seeing on this final, what could be final push. Again, just looking at those KDs, I mean, they're so even between both teams. Friendly Fire 4-4, 5-4, 6-3. BossFight 5-4, 5-4, 5-5. You know, like they're very similar KDs here. Each round has been down to the wire, and so yeah, good solid map 3 here to be tuning into. into what could be the final round of the series.
Alright, I can throw this. Oh, is that perfect?
Let's see how BossFight
Wacky trigger, bro.
do hold up here.
Gotta work on that arm, but
At least it's not an index controller.
Oh no, it was a shitty.
And a flash does come up and over. Ollie does push past Tea Party right up into the middle of the area, but Tea Party does catch that kill. Before Physics, Shook, Sip Airborne pushing in here. Shook absolutely trapped in the corner as they do trade down. Sumi was here to reinforce. They almost get killed by their own friendly nade.
Left side, left side, left side, left side.
Friendly Fire down at 2 as callouts come in. That Purzel is here on this side. Tea Party's still looking for anything up through the center. Missed that trade there, and Purzel now alone in a 1v3. Be able to rotate back, get the res on the king. Like T was pushing out and Cam caught the trade.
Be quick, be quick, be quick. Thank you.
Rez is there. 2v3. Not impossible. Not ideal.
Falling yellow.
And I wonder if BossFight has an accurate kill count here to know. Or excuse me, FriendlyFire has an accurate kill count to know that there's 3 left for BossFight instead of a full 4 or 5.
They got one on the barrels, by the way, one on the barrels.
Kid coming in, getting deny vision on the slime in the corner. Cam Street and Lego. Blind fire there between the two, but smoke. Brazil does make it past, and the quick snapshot on to Scooby. The 1v1 BossFight on the edge here. Brazil trying to clutch it up for Friendly Fire to keep them on the line for a map win, and they'll catch Slime Magic out. Friendly Fire doesn't go down without a friendly fight. And a really nice clutch there from Brazil. We're going the distance here. 11-6 now. Point away from turning this into an 11-7 and really minimizing their loss. Maybe enough to where they don't end up getting kicked down out of the top 7. Right now they're ranked 6th. So at the very least they'll get put to 7th. Again, who knows how the rest of these games shake out this afternoon, because it is the final week in terms of determining who is where, in terms of who has to play in. I don't actually know that we are doing a play-in. I think, no, I should know this. I apologize. I believe it starts with a round robin this time, so it might be top 8 from each region because we're doing regionals. I think that's how it's happening, but I don't quote. Either way, Brazil 8-3 so far this series. Definitely a KD worth noting. 7-5 for Shook as well. They're certainly doing well, but it's no 8-3. And I do see that comments. This is a really great back and forth, and I do agree this has been a great series to tune into. Been trying a little bit of focus on first-person perspective. Saw some good comments online from a few folks, and I just did want to try and put a little bit more focus on the FPS views this afternoon. I am curious on the general feedback of that, if there was any real notice of it, or maybe I should try and do that more often. With the, I do still obviously have the mix of third-person, but I have been trying to catch more kills in first-person. It's not exactly optimized for it. The first-person perspective is a little bit awkward, but I'm curious to know what the thoughts are. One kill comes in out the gates. BossFight definitely looking to lock this in on offense. More suppressive fire. Physics rotating over, gets gunned down by Slime. Airborne has an angle on the toes here. Oh, but they drop off it as T catches the kill over the top. No, it's actually another one. Brazil catches that refrag onto T.
I got one.
Shots on the Camp Street do land, and Brazil is alone. They recognize this, have to defend objective, don't want to allow a cap, don't want to allow the scoreline to get any more egregious than it is, and as they push out into the open, Legal's the one that catches the kill through the doorway. And BossFight take their final map with an end scoreline of 12-6. Where this lands both teams at the end of the day, I don't know. It'll take the end of Sunday to really determine that, but an absolute battle back and forth between these two teams and an exciting one to tune into. Happy to have all of you stop by, but it's going to be it for me here on the desk until we return at 6 p.m. PST with our final matchup of the season before we get into the postseason gameplay. So a lot of hype around today, and I'm certainly happy to get into what was a fantastic battle, but that'll be it for me. My name's Ben, NightFiree with 2 E's. I appreciate all of you hanging out and enjoying the action. Tune in later tonight for more. Until then, stay classy.